It's time for some baseball at Baum-Walker Stadium. Hog Pen is loaded tonight on a beautiful Tuesday evening in Northwest Arkansas. The Razorbacks off a weekend series in South Carolina welcome in an in-state team, the UCA Bears, for a one-game tilt. Hey, let's bring you up to the booth. I'm Brett Dolan. He's still Troy Eklund. Thanks for joining us. The Hogs took 2 out of 3 in South Carolina. Maybe a little disappointing they didn't win all 3, but it was so much fun to watch Micah New and his athleticism throughout the weekend.
Boy, I think so. Mike has kind of let the game come to him now, really trusting those hands offensively, and you can see the results. Talk about that athleticism, Brett. Look at him go get this ball right here in the gap. There's not many guys in college baseball that make that catch. And then at the plate, he's electric as well, too. How about a no-doubter to center field? The power's really starting to come.
Sure is. Couple of home runs, about 800 feet worth of bombs. Had 6 RBIs in that game against South Carolina Friday, part of 22 runs as the Razorbacks got off to a good start against the Gamecocks. Meanwhile, Dayton Agree had quite a weekend for the Bears against Bellarmine.
Boy, you're exactly right. No home runs coming into last weekend. He hit 3. How about Mr. Consistent? The guy that's just really locked down the shortstop position, hit .310 last year, hitting .345 now, 17 RBIs, really an anchor of that lineup.
Well, the Bears tonight will run out a lineup that starts with Gwynn, then Mosini and Negree, Allen, Runsick, Sloan, Ross, Shaddle, and Denton for the 13 and 11 UCA Bears. They're going to get to see another in-state product on the mound for the Razorbacks, Peyton Lee.
Yeah, the Maumelle native. He's thrown really well. He's got an electric arm. He'll run the fastball to the low to mid-90s. Again, for a freshman, what really jumps out at me, Brett, is that strikeout to walk ratio. If he can just throw strikes, he's going to be real effective.
Coming off a good outing last week when he pitched against Northern Colorado. Went 5 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 6 strikeouts after an outing against Arkansas State that did not go quite as well. Well, it's 69 degrees tonight. Feels like we went through a heat wave that had cooled off, and we're back to normal late March conditions in Northwest Arkansas. And the purple means the Bears are in town, and this is Parker Gwynn, the second baseman. Louisiana native hitting at a .326 clip. Peyton Lee ready, and we are underway with a foul ball that's out of play. Our plate umpire this evening is Clinton Wheeler. Greg Hendricks at first, Seth Buckminster at second, Matthew Anderson at third. Bears are coming off a series win against Bellarmine. They had a wild game 1 as well. Think about that. We talked about Arkansas getting 22 runs Friday night. I was trying to watch the Bears game on replay. It was 10-2 UCA after 1 inning at about 60 minutes.
Yeah, I think Bellarmine had a little bit of difficulty fielding the baseball in that first game.
And then a big comeback for UCA on Sunday to let them win the series. 1-1 is a bit of a hanger, but it's hit in the air to the shortstop Kojal, who's going to back up a few steps and make a catch on a sunny but windless evening.
We don't hear that very often here at Baum-Walker Stadium, winless.
Or sunny.
Yeah, either or. That's exactly right, but nice play by Kojal. And I liked how he took his time on that play, Brett. He let the ball get up in the air, and then he didn't start waving his arms and waving off those outfielders until he was absolutely sure he had that ball in his sights.
DH is Mosini. 10 hits on the year. Takes a pitch in there for a strike. Got a Canadian on this Bears team. Lee delivers, and that's spanked to center, traveling right to Micah New. He doesn't have to leave his feet this time. He'll make the catch and a couple of quick outs in the top of the first inning.
Good job by Peyton Lee, just pitching to contact. That ball was hit right on the screws by Mosini, but just right at Micah New.
Two gone for Nate Negree, the shortstop. Featured him in the open. Entered last weekend with no homers. He finished with 3. I think it was 3 3-run homers.
It's a good weekend.
I would say so.
That'll help you get to those 11 RBIs that he piled up last weekend against Bellarmine.
Ball was jumping in Conway on Friday. See the numbers for Negree on the season. Good OPS. Again, that was left up in the zone, and it's hit in the air down the line in left, and Ruiz will run out of room. Who gets it? Uh-oh, we got to find a kid. Oh, look at this youngster. He's going to get a baseball right out of the gates.
He was climbing over seats to get that
Yes,
ball.
he was.
Legree ended up all the way at the second base, so it's taking him a little while to get back to the box.
He just put his head down and took off. Legree, a Missouri native, will wave and miss. Peyton Lee with the strikeout to end the inning. A pop-up, a line out, and a K. We're off and rolling. And the Razorbacks coming to bat in the bottom of the first. Take a stroll through the concourse of Baum-Walker Stadium. Maybe get you some caramel corn or a t-shirt on this Tuesday night. Arkansas coming to bat in the bottom of the first. They're going to get to see a local product from Fayetteville High School, Jacob Pennell.
Yeah, right out of Fayetteville. He's kind of played all around the area. Played at Crowder Community College up in Neosho, and then University of Arkansas Rich Mountain as well. But the right-hander's going to sit in the upper 80s, low 90s with that fastball. He's a 4-pitch mix guy, Brett, so that means he'll throw the curve, slider, and changeup. Opponent's hitting 292 off of Pennell this season.
Got to be a thrill for him to pitch here at Baum-Walker Stadium. This is the Razorback lineup that will face him this evening. Ruiz, Kojal, and Helfrich. Stewart, New, and Souza. Aloy, Robinette, and Pompey. And Troy, this is the regular SEC lineup. Run out there on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, I think so. And then I think DVH is trying to do two things. You know, he definitely wants to win this in-state matchup, but also really try to get his guys right. They really didn't put up a lot of numbers, especially in that, runs up in that Saturday game. But again, he wants to get that offense clicking. Going to face Florida Gators this coming weekend.
In fact, in that loss to South Carolina on Sunday, they were 3 for 20 with runners on base, 2 for 16 with runners in scoring position. And that man, by the way, is the new active leader in wins in Division I baseball, DVH. He entered last weekend number 2. Now he's number 1, and Paul Maneri is into retirement. Anyhow, here's Damian Ruiz. He has reached base in 15 straight games. And he'll take strike 1. So Ruiz doing what a leadoff hitter should, is on-base percentage and even 500. So every other time he's getting on base. I would say that OPS isn't correct. If it was, he would be amazing. Anyhow, he'll foul one right at the plate. And for Damian Ruiz, Troy, he homered last Tuesday night when we were here against Northern Colorado. It had been more than a year since he had homered. Well, now he's homered 3 times in 4 games.
Yeah, he's really kind of seeing the baseball big. And again, you like a leadoff hitter that's got some pop as well. Nice breaking ball right there by Pennell.
Pennell will KO. So that did not take long. Good start for Jacob.
That was the curve right there by Pennell. Really nice spin rate, almost 2,500. And it right at 79 miles an hour. Really had some bite down and away from Ruiz.
Well, he pitched against Louisiana Tech last week. Troy went 5 1/3 innings, gave up 3 hits and 4 runs, 6 Ks. So pretty good numbers, and that means he could go several innings tonight if needed. And facing Cam Kojal, and fades one outside for a ball. Kojal, big numbers at home this year at a 368 clip. Leads this team in hits with 32. Coming off a weekend where he went 4 for 11, but most of the players for the Razorbacks had some pretty good numbers this past weekend, and most of them did all of their damage in one game, the 22-run outburst on Friday night. And then, of course, Mainieri was let go or stepped aside, and Arkansas almost lost game 2 and did fall in game 3. So, you know, we saw this team for a long homestand of 18 games. They went on the road for 3, and they come back and kind of settle in for a week with one game against the Bears, and then the Florida Gators might be steaming just a bit coming in here this weekend. Goodness, that wasn't close.
Kojal, he has the infield shifted on him now. 3 infielders on the right side of second base, but up until that point, they were playing Camden pretty straight away, so kind of missed that opportunity to find a big hole on the right side.
Bears shifted quite a bit this past weekend when I was watching against Bellarmine. That's ball 3. Pinnell again a year ago had 9 starts and 41 in the 3rd innings. Coach Harlan said they could use him in a number of different roles. That one's outside, so he struck out Ruiz, but he walks Kojal. And Arkansas has a base runner.
Yeah, Coach Harlan said we'd love to see Jake Pinnell be able to go deep into this ball game. They would love to see him chew up 4, 5, 6 innings if possible. I think he even said he could go the whole game if he needs to.
This is a Bears offense that certainly has improved. Pitching-wise, I know they'd like to see maybe a little bit more numbers-wise. Their team earned run average a little bit under 6. This is Ryder Helfrich. And Ryder, 6 homers, 19 runs batted in.
Brett, I've really seen Helfrich. He started out the season with that closed stance, and he kind of opened it back up. And then now he's got it closed again. That front foot is closer to the plate than that back foot. I think that just keeps his front side closed just a little bit longer.
He took a big whack at that when it came up empty.
I think the little experiment opening up didn't produce the results that he wanted, so he went back to that closed stance again.
Might have been based on the pitchers he was facing,
True.
if I had to guess. 1 on, 1 out, 1 ball, 1 strike. Helfrich hits one in the air to center. Sloan covers a lot of ground. He'll be there waiting a little bit to the right of straightaway center and makes the catch to retire Helfrich. And there's 2 gone. That hat looked blue compared to that purple
Almost. Had a little
uniform.
A little bit of, well, you can, it's different than the bear that's on the hat.
Here's Zach Stewart. When Zach left us after the midweek game, he was at 199 hits. Well, he got 1 hit and 12 at-bats in South Carolina, but he is at 200 career hits with 48 career home runs.
That's a lot of offense, Brett.
It is indeed. He's really hit well at home this year, and there's a couple of guys that maybe don't have big numbers yet in conference games. Stewart and Aloy might be a couple of those. But we're just starting to settle into league play. Stewart takes one down and in at 87.
Yeah, Brett, I was looking at some stats here hitting at Baum Walker, and it's amazing how much more comfortable you hit in your home park. Zach Stewart hitting 341, 4 home runs, 9 RBIs, so definitely liking to hit at his home park.
He took a big swing and a miss. He was trying to get that 49th career homer with one big swing, and there was the breaking ball again from Pinnell.
That's a really nice job by Pinnell, not giving in to Stewart with a 2-0 fastball right there. Might see him throw another off-speed pitch to the big left-hander.
He'll work with 2 on the pitch time. Came back with that same pitch in a similar location. This time Stewart laid off.
Definitely you can tell that Zach Stewart's a guy that's had a lot of college at-bats. Just that little in-at-bat adjustment that he made right there and taking that pitch.
Big swing, 3-1, and fouled it back to the netting.
Had a quick conversation with Zach before the game, Brett, around the batting cage, and said, he goes, I haven't hit many balls as hard as I've hit some of them this season. That says a lot for a guy that's got almost 50 home runs in his career.
That's grown man farm strength. On the 3-2, Kojal will run. Chopper into the hole. Negri will make the play and throw out Stewart in the inning end. So the Razorbacks got a base runner with a walk and strand Camden Kojal. 1 scoreless inning in the books from Baum Walker. Weeks for DVH. He added a grandchild. He's now at 951 wins at Arkansas, and his career wins are the most amongst active Division I coaches or coaches in NCAA baseball with the retirement of Paul Mainieri.
Yeah, that's quite amazing, and just the consistency of Dave Van Horn. And now he's got 2 boys and 2 girls. They've got it balanced out now.
He's balanced everything.
That's right. It's all just working out for him.
Here's Zeb Allen. Allen is chasing a UCA career home run record. He has 22 for the Fort Smith product. 24 is the record, and you see what he's done already this year. Paulette's pitch is up and out. Coach Harlan for UCA. I just loved it when he started talking about Zeb on our call this week. He said he's tough. He's a dog. Sells out to an approach. He cares about the big picture. It's contagious. And when he could get selfish, he's selfless. What an endorsement of a player and a leader.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible, and you could just see that Coach Harlan, just couldn't have enough praise for Zeb Allen.
3-0 pitch is outside, so Zeb Allen will draw the walk, the first base runner for the Bears. Here on the top of the second, there's Nick Harlan. Worked his way up from the associate head coach to the head coach, and got a kick out of Coach Harlan, Troy, talking about just his staff, a multi-generational staff between his pitching coach, his new hitting coach, and Lance Spigner, and what they have available to teach these kids at UCA.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. He goes, we've got the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s covered. He said, because we can talk to anybody at any level.
That's right. Jake Runsick will take a strike. Greenbrier product. You got a new hitting coach, Heath Holiday, related to the Oklahoma Holidays.
Some pretty good pedigree.
So I think
knowing how to swing the baseball bat.
Indeed they do. So I think Heath's dad would be brothers with Tom Holiday, the longtime coach at Oklahoma State, whose son Josh is the head coach. And Matt, of course, all he has done is sired a #1 overall pick and like a #3 pick between Ethan and Jackson. That one is popped up. TJ Pompey underneath it to make the catch. And there's one out.
So I'm going to have to tell on myself a little bit. So I played when Tom Holiday was the pitching coach there at Oklahoma State for a year. So, yeah, it was always tough facing their pitchers. They really changed speeds a lot and really knew how to pitch and use the whole strike zone.
Well, Jackson was the #1 overall pick by the Orioles. Ethan went 4th to the Rockies, to Dad's old team this past summer. So Baseball's the family business. This is Jaden Sloan. His defense is really showing up. Another Arkansas kid. Does have 3 homers and 13 batted in. Those are some nice Bruce Bolt batting gloves he's got. Got some purple with some pink accents, Troy. That's some.
He's got some style going
stuff.
there.
He's bolted up.
You got to bring it when you've got gloves like that.
Yes. Allen has stolen 8 over at first, and Lee will work to the plate and delivers a strike on the outside corner. A fastball to Jaden Sloan. It is a Bears team where speed is important for them, and they like to push the issue a little bit. Of course, it's hard to do that when you're behind. So if you are going to run, I think you might do it early in the game, but then again, you might test Lee and Helfrich. I mean, the one thing I think Coach Harlan emphasized to us, when you come into a situation like this, and listen, they defeated Vanderbilt earlier this year, but you know, you need to string together some wins. You can't make mistakes and expect to come out with a win. Allen's going to run. Good pitch to run on. Helfrich's throw is late, and Allen went right through the wickets of Kojal at second base to get his 9th bag of the year.
Well, great jump by Zeb Allen, and then he went on a breaking ball. So you could see he really got almost kind of like a walking lead, and just I love how he just kind of exploded into that base. He never slowed down even on the slide.
I thought he was going to go right on into left field.
No. That was artificial turf. He might have been in trouble.
2-2 is cut on and missed. Peyton Lee came back with the change. He left it elevated, Troy, but he got Sloan out in front.
Boy, he did, because that was right over the heart of the plate. You can't throw this baseball any more down the middle. But again, that change of speed, when you're throwing 94 at the fastball, that 84 looks like it's coming in on just like on a balloon coming in there on a string.
84 middle is what you get in BP, you know.
That's right.
But obviously pulled the string on him, and this is Mark Ross, the right fielder. Young man who's got all the tools, according to his coach, a Springfield, Missouri native. Glendale High School.
Definitely doesn't look like a freshman at 6'1", 210.
He does not. Wonder if he might get together with Zach Stewart and compare notes on what it was like to step in and play in a freshman season. Of course, Stewart not far from Springfield either. He went to Mo State, and Mark Ross is a UCA Bear.
Boy, base hit to the outfield. It's definitely a score a run. Arkansas's outfielders are playing deep.
Well, the 2-0's not close, so Peyton Lee in danger of walking his second man this inning.
But it really looks like Peyton Lee is kind of finishing high. He's not trying to not getting that chest out over that front knee, kind of driving toward home plate as much as he should.
That's high. That's ball 4. So after a perfect first, couple of walks here in the second.
That's going to bring Matt Hobbs out. I was just thinking about that same thing. You've got runners at first and second, 2 outs, and you want to put the Bears away right here when you've got the ability to. I think this is going to be a mechanical conversation.
It's not a short one either. Talked a little bit about Peyton Lee in that last start, because Hobbs had some very interesting comments to the newspaper writers, and he said he's been working to throw less breaking balls to the arm side into the middle of the plate. Biggest bugaboo, he's gotten ahead in some counts, hit some guys with some off-speed pitches to the arm side, and his struggle is if that breaking ball is on the middle or arm side of the plate, it kind of hovers there.
Yeah, I think so. And
hovering's not good.
No. Kind of the old term is a cement mixer. It's just up there spinning.
That's hard hit, and it's into right for a base hit. Jagger Shadow might drive in a run. The throw to the plate is not in time. Allen will score, and UCA is struck first. And the veteran Jagger Shadow wasted little time pulling one between Souza and Robinette.
Boy, I like the aggressiveness of Jagger Shadow going up there, seeing that first pitch fastball, Again, that was up over the plate. It was up in the zone, Brett, but still over the heart of the plate, and you're going to get hurt in D1 baseball if you throw middle.
It was a year ago. Jagger Shadle had 3 hits and a couple of runs batted in this game against the Razorbacks. So he must really like hitting at Baum Walker. This is Zane Denton, the catcher. The Bears have been platooning their catchers. After Shipley got hurt, there's another one dumped out to right. That's a base hit, taken on the bounce by Stewart. Here comes Ross. He will slam on the brakes, and the throw comes through, and Helfrich made sure to catch it on the fly. And the 7, 8, and 9 hitters have all reached with 2 outs.
Yeah, that walk to Zeb Allen is what came around to score, and I really like the thought process right there of Zach Stewart in right field. When you've got bases loaded, you want to just let that ball fly. You don't have to throw it through the cutoff man because nobody's going to move up. You want to keep that run from scoring any way you can.
And this is Gwynn, who popped to short his only time in. He might just help out the Razorbacks. Popped up to third. Pompey will drift back into fair territory, make the catch, and end the inning. Good news is the Bears get the first run. The bad news, they strand 3, and the Razorbacks have some work to do.
It's Australian and Fijian. So it's definitely Polynesian little islander. One of my cousins, their last name's New Matawalu. We got it. New. Just a little one. Simple, easy. Spelled a little weird, but it's all right.
New Malawalo? I don't know what that is, but there's your Australian flag flying out in the hog pen. And Mike had told me today, Troy, that his dad and his uncles, rugby players from Australia, they were supposed to be here tonight. The airlines and the flights, it didn't work out, but they're going to be here this weekend, and they're going to be at that hog pen, and they might provide a little security if things get rowdy out there.
I'm sure they can. If they played some rugby, they're going to be tough enough to handle themselves in the hog pen. Yeah, the TSA kind of bit them a little bit on their travel plans, but now they're leaving Thursday.
So Micah had the 6 RBI game last Friday, equaled a career high. And he had a sister, and I believe it was his niece that were there. His sister is also a rugby player. Her husband is a rugby player, a professional as well. So they had a chance to see him put forth an amazing game in Columbia.
Yeah, I think they drove down from Charlotte, and I believe it's where he said they live. And it's not too bad of a little drive, but boy, definitely worth it the way that Micah played last weekend.
There's no doubt. 2-1 the count. He did not want to finish that swing in that manner. Pennell got him to go after. And the count 2-2.
Boy, Brett, Pennell's really pitching backwards, and what I mean by that is throwing a lot of off-speed pitches and fastball accounts.
Tell you what, it's something that we saw Stetson do. I think it's something we saw Northern Colorado do a lot last week.
Oh, yeah, and then really pitch, when they did throw fastballs, really be at the bottom part of the zone. Not trying to leave anything up where these Razorbacks can drive it.
Counts full to New, and that is at the bottom of the zone for strike 3 called. Second K for Pennell.
Yeah, definitely a strike that clipped the bottom part of the zone and had just a little bit of sink right there at the end. I think Micah thought that one wasn't going to stay in the zone, but had just enough carry.
Here's Nolan Souza, riding an 8-game hitting streak. It's interesting because Nolan had a nice weekend, Troy, 5 for 11 at South Carolina. When you look right now, of the 9 in the starting lineup, his batting average overall is the 3rd lowest. But when you look at only SEC games, he is at the very top in what he has done in conference play, 10 for 20, which means he started to find it. Well, he's going to bounce here to Gwynn to retire Souza, and there's 2 gone.
Yeah, I think Souza was still trying to play a little bit of catch up for missing all fall with that shoulder injury.
And by the way, speaking of Souza, his family on Oahu, they're okay with all the flooding in Hawaii, and a lot of that's on the northern shore. Talked to Jamie Kahio's dad, and they went through a little bit of that as well on Maui. But boy, that's been a mess on the island.
It really has, and boy, you just don't really realize how much damage water can do until it affects you.
Did you enjoy Kahio's 450-foot homer the other day?
When you hit the ball over the trees that are way behind the batter's eye, that's a blast. Talked to Matt Hobbs, and I go, how did it sound off the bat? He just said different.
Like a cannon, like a gun? The announcers set it up perfectly because they said DVH was talking about his power. He hit one 450. But Jacob Pennell doesn't want any of our stories. He said, take this, strikeout, soft ground out, strikeout. 1-0 Bears through 2.
ESPN is now the home of MLB.tv.
So all out-of-market games, live or on demand, plus all your favorite sports on ESPN. We need to tell the people, Carl.
We're doing it right now.
ESPN is now the home of MLB.tv. All out-of-market games, live or on demand, all in one place.
Well, Troy, the outing for Peyton Lee lasted a couple of innings, and Parker Coyle comes on to work here in the 3rd.
Yeah, I think Parker Coyle is a guy that Matt Hobbs really wants to get a lot of work in, and he's somebody that they really need to lean on as they get into conference play. And this is like Coyle coming out and throwing a bullpen. Again, the great thing about Parker Coyle, you talk about the ultimate strike thrower. See the 4 walks and 18 punch-outs in 11 1/3 innings.
Bears went in order in the 1st. They got a run, left the bases loaded in the 2nd. Parker Coyle on to work here in the 3rd. Nice crowd tonight. Hog Pen is packed. Temperature started at 69 degrees. Gearing up for this weekend when the Florida Gators come to town. In fact, Florida's softball team will also be here. So it'll be Gators and Hogs for 6 games. And boy, they came out early in the Hog Pen and chewing up some valuable real estate out there. This is Mosini. Lines one right to Souza. Parker Coyle throws one pitch, gets one out.
I definitely think that Camden Kosher would have caught that ball, but it makes it a little bit easier with 6'3" Nolan Souza out there at second base.
One gone for Nate Negree, strikeout victim in the first inning. Next hit will be his 30th on the season. Sends one out to right field. Stewart on the move. How about 2 pitches, 2 outs? As much as the immaculate innings fun, 3 outs on 3 pitches would be even better.
You almost have to take right here, but you're probably going to get a fastball right down the middle. But it's really nice for Arkansas fans to see Zach Stewart out there in right field, just really running with no pain after that groin injury a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I was worried when that took place, but
kind of felt like that was one that could linger.
yeah, I think so. Zeb Allen walked and scored last inning. He does take a pitch by showing bunt, taking a strike.
Well, I tell you what, if you're the Razorbacks and Zeb Allen bunts, I think that's a gift.
I think he was just taking a pitch.
Yeah, but he's a guy that can really drop the head on the baseball.
Wave it a miss.
Shocker. Parker Coyle throwing 4 pitches, all strikes.
Lifted in the air to right center field, well struck. New is on the move, and that ball is gone. A home run from Zeb Allen. His 23rd career bomb, and the Bears have a 2-0 lead. An 0-2 pitch that caught way too much of the plate, and Allen made him pay.
Boy, Brett, you just cannot hang a breaking ball right down the middle on 2 strikes, and that's what Parker Coyle does. Watch where this ball ends up, right over the heart of the plate. And boy, the second that ball left the bat, you thought it had a real chance. There's no wind blowing in from right field that normally knocks that baseball down when balls are hit that high, and Zeb Allen's fired up.
His next home run will equal the program record in homers. Here's Runsick. Takes strike 1.
One thing for Arkansas is they have not been able to figure out Jacob Pinnell up to this point.
These midweek games this year, Troy, at times they have been uphill battles. And that pitch is down. It was a year ago tomorrow that Arkansas lost 14-13 to Missouri State last year, a wild game. Stewart was part of that. Arkansas had won 18 straight midweek games before that loss. As we've talked about a couple of times, they lost that game to Arkansas State, and then they lost a Monday game to Stetson. A little bit problematic, but the Bears have come to play tonight, and the 2-1 to Runsick in for a called strike.
Yeah, I think the last 2 balls to Runsick he threw down and in. That was the pitch he really wanted to throw to Zeb Allen. It just didn't end up there.
Little chopper. Helfrich will get it, slings it to first. Well done. There's the athleticism from Helfrich, and the frame ends. But Zeb Allen hit a solo homer for UCA, and the Bears have an early 2-0 lead on the road. Troy, RPI is a discussion we're going to have a lot coming forward. How about Missouri State being ninth? But I'm going to draw your attention to where Arkansas is. They are at number 62. So they actually dropped about 10-plus points after that series with Northern Colorado.
Yeah, that was really a tough time with Northern Colorado. And again, that RPI is so important when it comes to seeding in postseason.
No
now,
doubt.
that RPI will really start picking up for Arkansas as they have more and more conference games. But
look at all the teams in the top 10, and you're at 62 right now.
That's a long ways to climb, isn't it?
Now, Central Arkansas is at 141. So a loss today, Troy, and that RPI would be impacted.
That really would. They might be in the close to triple digits.
Robinette, Pompey, and Ruiz here in the bottom of the third inning, facing Jacob Pinnell, who's done a fine job already. And again, I mentioned he went 5 in the third innings, giving up 3 hits, 6 Ks against La Tech. I think that was last week. Well, he's given up 1 walk through 2 innings and struck out 3 Razorbacks.
Well, he's getting ahead, and then he's really not leaving pitches out over the plate with 2 strikes.
Parents are Blake and Jennifer, and I got to believe they're here pretty excited to see Fayetteville High School product back in town pitching at Baum Walker, and he's leading 2-0. Reese Robinette, couple of hits, 3 runs batted in this weekend in South Carolina. He's had a couple, though, that have gotten away from him, but it hasn't impacted the verdict in the end.
I almost think that was kind of a not quite that high, but I think that was almost a setup pitch, trying to change the eye height with Robinette. Let's see if he doesn't try to go down and in or down and away.
Well, throwing one to the backstop would change the eye level. Then he comes back with that big-time breaking ball again. That's the pitch that's caused some problems. That's 4 strikeouts through 8 batters he's faced.
Yeah, it's not only getting the right-handers, but the left-handers as well. Again, that pitch looks like it's a strike on the inside corner, and the bottom just drops out of it. Yeah, I definitely think that pitch before was a setup pitch. It just kind of sailed on him a little bit.
TJ Pompey batting in the 9-hole. Pompey went 3 for 12 with a couple of runs batted in this past weekend. There's his season numbers. There's that breaking ball again, but thrown down in the zone.
I think if you're Pompey, when you're down 2 runs, this better be a pitch that is exactly where you want it and exactly the type of pitch, or you don't swing at it.
Well located for a strike.
Well, these Bears have been playing most of the Razorbacks pretty straight away. Sloan in center field, shaded over to right center just a hair.
2-1 is cut on a missed.
Boy, it's that breaking ball. It's got some really tight spin, almost 2,700.
Well, he threw that harder with even more spin than some of the previous ones.
Yeah, that's got some really good bite on it. You might see another one right here down and away.
Why not?
I wouldn't even be surprised if he doesn't double up and go right back to that same spot. It's hard to lay off 2 in a row when you've got 2 strikes.
Here comes the payoff pitch to Pompey. He got the fastball and tapped it over near the Bears dugout. Damian Ruiz on deck.
Pinnell really working over that third base side of the rubber.
Well, Arkansas gets its second base runner, the second walk. Put a man aboard for Damian Ruiz. Is that purple jersey and blue hat bothering you as much as it me?
I think so.
Maybe I'm an outlier on that conversation.
Well, it's just the color of the bear is more purple and the hat's a little more blue, so I think that's what's really throwing
I
me
think it's been out in the sun too long.
Well, there's not like sweat stains on it or anything like that. Doesn't look like Parker Coyle's hat.
Ruiz the bunt, and not a good one. It'll come to the screen. You know, it was amazing to watch the home run from Ruiz, Troy. He hit one off the batter's eye, and DVH talked about the fact that he's another guy he feels like has come into this program and just gotten stronger through the strength and conditioning program.
Yeah, Hunter Bell does an amazing job of really getting these guys really built up strength-wise, but still maintaining that nice range of motion.
Well, for a guy like Ruiz, though, this is also boosting his stock for the next level. Play some pro ball. We know what his speed is like, and then you mix in some juice.
It's a good combination.
Might be an undefeated combination for a position player. Two 0 Bears in the bottom of the third inning. Arkansas has not had a runner to scoring position yet. How about a front door breaking ball for a strike?
I was almost thinking that the runner at first base might draw a few more fastballs, but Pinnell's best pitch so far has definitely been that slow breaking ball in the upper 70s. AC might want to dive one down and away right here.
Flip to first and Pompey back in, and right now I think Pinnell has things certainly under control. He came in with an earned run average of 1309 in the 11 innings. Pause before the two-strike pitch. Sent out towards center field. It'll be caught by Sloan. 2 outs.
Really good jump by Sloan. He was playing pretty deep in center field with the power of Ruiz, but boy, right off the bat, his first step was in, and he made that play look really easy.
He sure did, and Coach Harlan said his defense is showing up. Ball was hit better than I thought off the bat, and results in the second out. Here's Koschel.
Brett, I think if you're TJ Pompey over at first base, especially with 2 outs, anything in the dirt, you really want to see, call it reading down angle, so you can tell if the ball leaves the pitcher's hand, if it's going to hit the dirt, you can get a really good jump and try to get into scoring position.
Big swing from Koschel and a soft chopper to Shadow. And the Hogs denied again. That's 3 hitless and scoreless innings for Jacob Pinnell. Bears looking good, out to a 2-0 lead over the Razorbacks. ESPN is now the home of MLB.tv. Stream every out-of-market game live or on demand using the ESPN app. Blackout and other restrictions apply. For more information, go to ESPN.com/MLBTV. Opening day, I think, is Thursday. Crank it up, Troy.
That sounds right. It's always a good day.
Say it is. Of course, you got some basketball going on as well. In Houston, you got it all going on about a block from each other. Meanwhile, This is Jaden Sloan. He's going to lead off the 4th inning. Hit one in the air down the line in left. It'll bend into the seats and be out of play. Tell you what, another run or two from the Bears, they would make things even more difficult for the Razorbacks.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Arkansas needs to throw up a 0 and just have a pretty easy inning against the Bears. And, boy, they do not want to take their foot off the gas, because it seems like the Razorbacks have been a little susceptible to losses in these midweek games.
Sloan struck out against Peyton Lee in the 2nd. Good pitch for a strike.
I bet Parker Coyle's going to put one in the dirt right here.
That was the cutter on that last pitch.
It's a really big-time break.
Puts one down and out. Came back with the slider just under 2,900 RPM, and that is a big number. Speaking of pitchers with Razorback ties with big RPMs and spin rate numbers, how about Peyton Paulette? He's going to make the Cleveland Guardians opening day roster.
That's really awesome. And, yeah, he has got some crazy spin rate.
That's poked out to left field, and Ruiz will get a good break and make the catch to retire Sloan. Remember, it was Ruiz who had a ball well to center, and Sloan tracked it down. Ruiz said, I'm going to make sure I take care of you here in the 4th inning.
Boy, as a hitter, when you hit a baseball a certain way in a certain spot, you think, okay, that's a hit. I know it's a hit. And I can guarantee you that Jaden Sloan thought off the bat, okay, I just got a base knock right there. And like you said, Damian Ruiz with just a great read and playing a couple steps more shallow allowed him to catch that baseball.
And he didn't have to leave his feet.
No. That's just a tremendous break. Both guys make great plays against each other,
That's
like
right.
you said.
Mark Roswalt was stranded at 3rd in the 2nd. Parker Coyle doesn't waste much time. Gets the ball, pumps it, usually connects with a strike.
He's not watching the pitch clock and then holding the baseball. He is going to get that ball and grip it and rip it.
14 of his 18 pitches have been strikes. One of them ended up on the other side of the fence, however, but still.
That's a pitch on 0-2 that didn't really want to catch that much of the zone.
Working with Helfrich, who's back catching midweek. 0-2 is down.
It's a great take right there by Mark Ross. Out of the hand, it's probably about thigh high, and it just falls off the table.
Coyle shook off a sign from Ryder. That one's hard hit past Pompey, and it's a base hit in left. So Mark Ross has been on both times. Bears have a base runner with one gone.
Yeah, another pitch just right over the heart of the plate by Parker Coyle. He's definitely missing his spots with 2 strikes.
Brings up Jagger Shaddle. Had an RBI single in the 2nd. He drove in the first of 2 Bear runs. You know, they have a neat little section in the Bears game notes on kind of a Q&A with their players, you know, your favorite meal and this and that. Jagger Shaddle said his favorite game is Twister. Troy, I'd like to see you and Jagger and maybe Zach Stewart get in a game of Twister.
I just hope he didn't follow me. He's a big guy. He is all there, and I tell you what, that just shows he's got some flexibility. Then
must. That's not a game you play if you know, you feel like you're going to blow out a hammy or pop an ACL or something.
Yeah, you might see Parker Coyle really try to stay away from Jagger Shaddle. You've seen him really shoot a lot of balls between that first and second baseman.
Another flip to first. Again, Ross back in.
I was watching where Ryder Helfrich was setting up, Brett, and looked like he was definitely shaded more to that outside corner. Shadow with 3 home runs on the season already.
I was talking about Shaddle's 3-hit game against Arkansas. That was a couple of years ago in a 9-7 Arkansas win, in which he drove in a couple of runs. Last year went 0 for 2. That was part of a 9-2 Razorback victory. Tell you what, Arkansas, these were the pitchers they threw out at the Bears last year on March the 11th. Fisher for 3, Bybee for 2, Dylan Carter, Cole Gibler, Will McIntyre.
They weren't messing around.
They were not messing around at all.
It was still a close game.
2-1 pitch. Poked out to center field. New, who is in left center, glides to right center to make the catch. And that's out number 2.
Yeah, definitely a ball down in the zone. And again, still over the middle of the plate. Coyle not picking those corners like he normally does. I think Parker's got a new hat this year, or at least this game.
Think he went for a new one?
Well, the other one looked like, I think it was last year's hat, because it looked like the dog chewed on it, had a lot of white sweat stains on it. He's definitely started sweating through that one as well.
Yeah, he's got that Oklahoma sweat rolling tonight.
Mark Ross has really had a short lead over first base up to this batter, and then he's got a much bigger lead.
He's going nowhere. Huh, he bluffed, but that was hit, and it's fair down the line and left. Third base umpire Matthew Anderson was right on that play. He was trying to get out of the way. Zane Denton will have a double. I'm not sure the Razorbacks agree. DVH is already out of the dugout, and I think he wants to know, did that ball hit before the base, because I don't think you can review it unless it hits before it gets to the base. What'd you think in real time? Let's see this one again. It was hit so hard. Can't tell from that.
Yeah, this is the angle we want. I thought it was fair in real time. I thought it hit the chalk.
I did too, but certainly the reaction from Arkansas's dugout was one of a questioning situation. But Zane Denton, the 9-hole hitter, has a couple of hits. Now there's runners at second and third for Parker Gwynn, who's popped up twice and is 0 for 2.
Well, Matthew Anderson, the third base umpire, he was about 2 feet away from that call. So, again, he was trying to move, and his eyes were moving almost like a batter, but.
Yeah, that's the issue. Sometimes when you're trying to get out of the way, you know, you're preoccupied just a bit, but I thought it was on the chalk, or at least fair. But now Coyle is behind Gwynn 2-0. Two outs this inning have been a line out to left and a line out to center.
I think that might have been Parker Coyle's first changeup, but the spin rate still looks like a breaking ball, but the speed was much less. Threw that one only 80 miles an hour.
I think he took a lot off the slider. Softly popped up to the right and in the seats and out of play.
Get another one left out over the heart of the plate.
You know, some pitchers fight their command trying to throw strikes. It feels like Parker at times throws so many that the hitters know he's going to be inside that quadrant at some point.
Yeah, I think you can be super aggressive at the plate.
The 2-2. This is a little bit up and a little bit out. So the count has gone full to Parker Gwynn. It's a big pitch in this game already. Here comes the payoff. Wave and a miss. Came back with that cutter. Maybe the changeup there. Gets the K to end the inning, and the Bears strand a pair.
Pennell, the Fayetteville native, has looked absolutely spectacular on the mound, really spotting that fastball, and that breaking ball is really what's giving Arkansas hitters fits. Not afraid to throw it down and into lefties like that one right there to Robinette. How about 4 punch-outs so far in 3 innings?
Yeah, he has kept this Razorback team somewhat of a bad spot.
I think off balance is definitely a good analogy.
So it's the heart of the lineup, second time through. Here's Helfrich. Hits a chopper back to Pennell. He's got it. Flips to first. And again, Arkansas does not have a hit. And, you know, Troy, it's amazing what happens when you put up, say, 22 runs. It feels like the next couple of games, no matter what, you're fighting it a bit. I mean, they had a 22-run outburst on Friday. It was the 6th time they had scored 20 or more runs in an SEC game, the 3rd time on the road. I think it was the largest margin of victory in a true road game in the DVH era.
6 home runs in that game,
6 home runs. I mean, the 4th inning alone was about 50 minutes. Arkansas scored 8 runs and Carolina scored 4. Arkansas entered the game 12th in the SEC at homers and then hit 6. I think they had 6 against SEMO in a regional game a couple of years ago. But, I mean, Troy, they just about lost on that Saturday. They needed an error to score a run in the 9th and win in the 10th, 3-2. They were defeated 9-4 on Sunday, and right now they want a hit, let alone a run.
Yeah, I think so. And again, you might even see Zach Stewart take 2 pitches right here just to get a base runner on base.
Pennell has walked 2. Finds the mark for a strike. He swings and drives one in the air, left center field. Well struck to the wall, and it's gone. Zach Stewart goes oppo into the hog pen. Arkansas's first hit is the 49th career home run for Zach Stewart. Up, out, and gone.
Well, that brought some life to this Arkansas fan base. And again, that was a 3-1 pitch that was left out up over the plate and allowed Stewart to get his arms extended. Watch where this ball ends up and away, right in Stewart's wheelhouse. And boy, the way he's hitting the baseball, how about 105 off the bat of Zach Stewart, and you just felt like that was going to have some good carry.
Oh, we had 2 gloves and no catch out there in the hog pen. And now Mike Anu is going to drop down a bunt, and no chance that Runza can make that play. Kind of a sniper attack. You know, the one thing Kozel did the other day, he bunted for a hit, but it came after the pitcher had entered the game and warmed up, almost like it's the last thing you're thinking. Well, once you get a home run, the element of surprise is magnified because people are pumped up, they want to see another big swing, and then you just drop it down.
Yeah, and I think even defensively, you think that in the back of your mind, you're thinking, well, I hope they don't go back-to-back home runs, and then the last thing you're thinking about is somebody dropping a bunt down.
Here's Souza. Nolan's going to swing and foul into the plate. Just the react, though, from Pennell on that replay of the home run from Stewart. He kind of winced as if to say, darn it, I didn't want that pitch there. I didn't want to give up that swing because he had been cruising until that point.
He'd really been pounding the outside part of the zone to both sides of the plate, and that one was just caught a little too much of the center part of the plate.
That one hit him? Sure did. Well, after Helfrich was quickly retired, it's been homer, bunt single, and hit by pitch.
Well, you know that Kahio Aloy is going to see a lot of pitches on the outside corner, and that's going to bring Cody Davenport, another Fayetteville Bulldog, pitched here in Fayetteville for the Purple Dogs and had a great stellar career at UCA. And boy, you talk about a guy who was just an absolute bulldog as a pitcher. That was Cody Davenport.
Really wants to keep this inning from getting away from Jacob Pennell and the Bears because they were firmly in command through 3.5 innings. All of a sudden, Arkansas has a chance to maybe do a little bit of damage second time through against Pennell.
Not only Cody Davenport giving his right-hander some encouragement, but Shaddle, the first baseman, is kind of basically saying, hey, you got this. You could just kind of really tell his mannerisms of, hey, this is no big deal to have guys at first and second with just one out. I think if you're Kahio Aloy, again, you need to see that baseball up in the zone. Anything that's going to start middle on a breaking ball is going to break way off the plate. You've seen how good of movement Jacob Pennell's had on that slurve slider.
And Troy, what is the balance between maybe anticipating that pitch and then also waiting out a hanger or a pitch that doesn't have that break or that spin?
Yeah, I think you just have to, early on the count, you need to see the baseball middle in.
Pitch to Aloy, and that was the good breaker.
That's the one that you've just got to see that one out of the hand. It's going to start over the middle of the plate and just dive down and away. It's amazing how easy it is to hit up here in the booth, Brett.
What do you think the percentage of pitches that have been breaking balls for Pennell tonight? 60%, 70%?
I think at least.
Yeah.
And especially to Kahio Aloy, really just too amped up in this at-bat.
It feels like there's been several times where he's gone 2 or maybe 3 in a row. Same pitch, similar location.
Yeah, you get the result right there. I don't think this one's going to be anywhere close to the strike zone.
New at second, Seuss at first. 2-strike pitch. Well, now that you've seen it 3 times in a row, do you assume that he's going to work off it one pitch and maybe give you something else?
You might see if there is going to be a fastball, it could be Bill high, but the crazy thing is Kahio Aloy can hit that pitch. I think he's going to see nothing but spinners right here.
The 1-2. That was a good stop by Denton.
Well, it really was, and tremendous secondary lead by Mike Anu out there at second base. Boy, he was really had a good secondary lead, and if that ball would have kicked away from Denton, he was going to be standing on third.
Hawks have their first run this inning, looking for more. Aloy with 23 runs batted in, takes one a little bit down, and the count has gone full. So Kahio was in an 0-2 hole. Now he's taking it full as Pennell's over 60 on the pitch count.
I tell you what, Arkansas, you already got a guy in scoring position, but it wouldn't surprise me if they don't try to double steal right here. This is probably going to be a breaking ball down and away.
Here's the payoff. Wave and a miss. Aloy went after one that finished out of the zone, and that is the 5th strikeout for Pennell, but even more importantly, a big second out this inning.
You could definitely see DVH really getting on Kahio about how do you swing at that pitch. It was never in the strike zone. And
yeah, that's a tough part.
That's somebody that's almost made up their mind to swing before that ball's even out of the pitcher's hand.
So instead of the bases loaded, there's 2 gone. Here's Robinette. Restruck out his last time in. Conversation continues. I think the one thing we're kind of waiting on is maybe a big home run week from Reese.
Well, when he's really on, he just peppers that left center field alley. I think that was the pitch right there. He had the opportunity to do it and just kind of got a little jumpy and got that, instead of hitting the ball the other way, just tried to hook it.
I mean, any base hit ties the game. An extra base hit probably gives your team the lead. Outfielders extremely deep, trying to cut balls off that might have a chance to go to the fence. But Jacob Pennell feels like he's right back in this frame after getting the strikeout. 2-1 to Reese Robinette. Big time pop up that'll drift out to left. Allen has a long run, still going, still running. Left-handed left fielder makes the catch. The inning ends and Troy, Arkansas gets one back.
Boy, about the only hard hit ball that Arkansas has hit all game long came from the bat of left-handed hitting Zach Stewart. Found that ball up and away on a 3-1 count and really got a hold of one. The Bears are still up 2-1.
Into the twilight hours here in Northwest Arkansas. Go to the 5th inning. 2-1 Bears in front of the Razorbacks. Ryder Helfrich's got to get that gear on, working with Parker Coyle in his 3rd inning of work. Sidney's going to lead off. Canadian, previously at Antelope Valley Community College. Coyle left a couple of runners in the 4th. You know, Troy, as I see him working with Helfrich, 643 does a lot of analytics, their charts, and they put out a post today that called Defensive Runs Saved for Division I baseball. They're at the very top of the list. Ryder Helfrich, 11.4.
Yeah, it's definitely not a surprise. Just what an amazing catcher he is. And we talked to Matt Hobbs before the game, and he said pretty much lets Ryder Helfrich call almost every pitch.
Ball spanked out to center. And the catch will be made, and there's one out. One of the people that liked that tweet was Zach Root. And by the way, did you see what Zach did in the MLB breakout game for the Dodgers? I mean, he was incredible.
Yeah, he is really kind of stepping his game up, and it really shocked both of us that the velocity that Root has. I mean,
he hit 99 the other day for the Dodgers.
He said about halfway through the season, he said he'd let it show about once a game.
Negree takes a strike. So Zach Root in that breakout game, and again, that's when these teams put a lot of their minor league prospects in a contest against one another. 3 innings, 1 hit, which was a dribbler, and 8 strikeouts for Zach Root.
Yeah, that'll get some attention to some people up high in the organization.
He was not the only Razorback to participate in that, but got a lot of attention. Negree drills another one out to center. Bears are making good contact, but they're hitting him at Micah New.
If you're going to give up a hard hit ball, center field's a nice place to let them hit it. There's a lot of room out there, and you've got a superstar in center field in Micah New.
Well, Gage Wood was also part of that MLB breakout, the spring training games, and that was a good performance again from Gage. 3 innings with just 1 run and 3 strikeouts. It's fantastic to see these Razorbacks not just go to the pro ranks, but make their mark fairly quickly. Excited to see what might be this year for Hagen Smith and the White Sox. Part of the tree there for Matt Hobbs and company.
That just shows the development that these pitchers get when they get in this Razorback organization.
Zeb Allen just broke his bat. He homered in his last AB, and he shattered his aluminum bat. When was the last time you saw that?
That is absolutely crazy.
It ended up in pieces. Well, Zeb Allen came to bat in the top of this inning, trying to homer again to equal a UCA program career home run record, and now he lost his bat. It broke. Listen to this. And it ended up in pieces.
Have you ever had that happen to you before?
You know, it happened to one of our softball players maybe 2-3 weeks ago in the same spot, right above the tape on the handle. TJ Pompey nearly hit by that pitch to begin the bottom of the 5th against Pinnell, but I mean, you wonder how many swings that bat had in its life before it snapped in 2 pieces.
Yeah. I actually had that happen in high school. It was about 35 degrees, and the barrel ended up over by the first baseman. And I had the handle in my hand, but it broke about that same spot.
Problem is then with the budgets, that was one of the 2 bats that the team
know.
had.
That's exactly right.
2-0 count to TJ, who walked in the 3rd. I think our high school team had 2 bats, and I used the thick handle rather than the small handle, but it had a dent in it, so I had to turn the dent opposite of the sweet spot. They got me 5 that year, 5 big flies,
okay.
but if it had been inspected, I don't think it would have passed. That's ball 4.
The Bears do have a right-hander in the bullpen, but so far Jacob Pinnell has been really solid.
Now, when the Bears came here a year ago, Troy, they threw 8 pitchers. Arkansas only batted in 8 innings, so Pinnell has been giving them some big innings, and then some tonight. Damian Ruiz looks at strike 1.
Well, if you're TJ Pompey, you want to be really careful over there at first base, and definitely do not want to get picked off in this situation.
With Ruiz, Koshel, and Helfrich due up. We nearly threw away a pickoff try in which Pompey was standing on the base.
That was almost one of those resets because that was about 4 seconds when Pinnell stepped off.
Pitches in there for a called strike.
I think if Ruiz saw that pitch again, he'd really like to take a hack at it. That was left out up over the plate. Now you're going to see Pinnell start working that breaking ball down and away.
Off the end of the bat, dumped out in the center for a base hit. That's just Arkansas's 3rd hit, and it's the first one to get to the outfield that didn't clear a fence. The other was a bunt.
Boy, that pitch is about 2 baseballs off the plate, but it was up in the zone. It wasn't buried like Pinnell has been doing up to this point, and just kind of cued off the end of the bat. You can see Nate Thompson really making sure to those base runners, hey, you've got to freeze on a line drive. You cannot run yourself into a double play, and that's going to bring Cody Davenport, the UCA pitching coach, out to the mound again.
You know, I think for sure one guy we're not going to see today, though, for the Bears, Troy, is their closer Hunter Alexander, who has used 5 2/3 innings on Sunday. Bears were down big 7-1, and they came back to win that game because of what Alexander gave them. 2 earned runs, no walks, 5 2/3 innings. And he was somebody that Coach told us about is just a big-time performer at the back end of their bullpen.
Yeah, Coach Nick Harlan couldn't say enough about Alexander and just said they're going to stick with Pinnell right here. But back to Alexander, he said he is one of the better closers in all of college baseball, according to Coach Harlan.
Yeah, D1 Baseball had him, I think, in the top 30 of mid-major relief pitchers. But a kid from Bigelow, Arkansas. Sometimes, though, what you see in a midweek game, you're curious about their top bullpen arms. Did they throw a lot of the weekend, and might they be available if there's a lead in the game like this?
Yeah, he said Alexander's going to be one of those kids who would want to get in there, but he said they doubt they'll throw him tonight.
Another pick try at second base for a reset. Koshel is 0 for 1 with a walk. He homered in this game a year ago against UCA for Arkansas, along with Iredale and Aloy.
I think you're going to see Camden Koshel get a lot of pitches on that outside corner. He can't get too anxious and try to pull that outside pitch.
Going to hit a big chopper that'll bound into right for a base hit. Pompey turns 3rd. He will score. Ruiz will basically fly to 3rd base, and Arkansas has tied the game on the Cam Koshel RBI, his team best 30 seconds.
Well, Brett, the walk comes around to haunt Jacob Pinnell because Shadow, the first baseman, is covering and holding that runner on. Look how tight Shadow's playing, and that allows that baseball to get over the head of the first baseman for the Bears, and no chance to throw out TJ Pompey going from second to home. And heads up play by Ruiz, and the speed allows him to be standing on third base right here, and the Hogs have got something brewing here in the fifth.
Here's Helfrich. You know, when you look at some of the numbers, and I think we're getting deep enough into the season where they start to bear a little more fruit, but with runners in scoring position, there's some Razorbacks in the 100s, there's some in the 2s, there's a couple of guys in the 3s, and then there's Kojal at 480 freaking 6.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal. That's like video game numbers.
And that's why you lead the team in runs batted in. He is 18 for 36 with runners in scoring position this year.
I think the biggest thing for Kojal is he just concentrates on one thing, and that's his breathing, really trying to slow that heart rate down. And you can see it in how he approaches each at-bat with those runners on base.
We're going to tell you about a big moment in the SEC this past weekend, and there's always a Nebraska or Midwest connection, but I'll save that as Arkansas tries to take their first lead of the game here in the bottom of the 5th inning. That's a pitch to hit, but a good one at the bottom of the zone for a strike. You almost get surprised when you see a fastball.
Yeah, I think so. I think that Helfrich might have been sitting on that breaking ball, and Brett, it's started getting that gloaming in the sky. That baseball is going to be tough to pick up on fly balls.
I like the gloaming, namely because I'm not trying to catch a baseball in the gloaming.
And what that means is just that night, it's not black up in the sky, and that baseball, when it gets up above the lights, it just turns into a little bitty gray dot. Definitely hard to pick up.
Hitters count for Helfrich. Here's a 3-1 pitch. That's down and out. That's ball 4. The first 4 Razorbacks have reached this inning, and the bases are loaded for Zach Stewart. And the Beer Hats come out, and Zach Stewart, after homering in the 4th, comes back to the plate. He's in a rather festive mood. He put that beer hat on. He started to dance a little bit. Mama's taking a picture. We've got him on TV.
He's fired up.
Just makes you in better spirits immediately, doesn't it?
It really does, and that's Ryder Helfrich leads the SEC in base on balls, and it just shows how patient he is at the plate. And Nick Harlan's going to go get Jacob Pinnell, and what a great job he had tonight. I think these Arkansas fans are going to give him a hand when he comes out of this ball game.
Pitching change for the Bears in the bottom of the 5th. Brand new game, and the Hogs will try to take the lead when you come back. Quiet game for the Razorbacks. They've tied it up, though, in the bottom of the 5th. They've loaded the bases, and the Bears have gone to the pen.
Yeah, the right-hander, redshirt sophomore Jake Jones comes in. Benton, Arkansas native. He's going to sit in that low 90s with the fastball. Brett, he is straight over the top, so his curveball is going to be like the old-school 12-6 curveball The thing about Jones is when he's on, 60% of the time, he's going to get a ground ball. And that's what they want to see right here. They would love to turn 2 with Jones on the mound.
All right, he came into this game a year ago, entered in the 3rd inning. He allowed 1 hit, 2 unearned runs, but he walked 3 in that inning. And he comes on in a scenario where Zach Stewart's on the verge of getting 50 career home runs, but a walk would force in the go-ahead run.
Jones came in with 13 in the 3rd innings, 13 punch-outs, but 8 walks, like you said. That's a lot.
Stewart was nearly grazed by that pitch.
Still no outs, Brett.
It's been walk, single, single, walk. Station to station. Good pitch, though, that pops in at 91 for a strike towards the bottom end of the zone.
Jake Jones is straight over the top with that release.
Holds that glove right up against his body. Stewart will chop one over near our camera guy, protect the camera, or let it get smoked. One or the other. Either we'll get a new one or everybody's okay. We had one that nearly took out our softball camera the other day.
That's not good.
Same guy. He's a magnet. Stewart fouls one at the plate. Some of those cameras are like the cars you see in Havana that are driving down the road in Cuba that about 30 years ago they were great, but they need to be upgraded.
1950s.
It's like everything's okay.
That's a really good changeup by Jake Jones, and boy, Zach Stewart just got a piece of that one.
Nobody out, bases loaded. The pitch to Stewart. Fought that one off and fouled it back.
Well, I think if you're Ruiz on 3rd base, you better be on your toes. You might see Jake Jones try to bury a breaking ball to get the strikeout right here.
Two and two.
That was a changeup that just kind of floated out there. Only 1,400 on the spin rate.
Did float. Stewart waiting on a 2-2 pitch. Well, that wasn't close.
That was the breaking ball that he just tried to overthrow, and a lot of times that's what happens. That'll just spin.
Well, his spin rates are all over the charts. See what Stewart gets to hit on a 3-2 pitch, and here it comes, and that's ball 4, and the Razorbacks have their first lead tonight on a bases-loaded walk to Zach Stewart.
A good velocity by Jake Jones, but just up and in. The best fastball he threw is that one he buried in the bottom part of the zone that really just kind of stayed on plane. I think he almost tried to overthrow that one right there. But you called it, a little bit of a control issue by Jones. The stuff is definitely there, but got to fill up that strike zone.
I mean, could there be a tougher scenario than bases loaded and nobody out? And Micah New does not get the benefit of that call. Micah dropped on a bunt hit in the 4th inning.
And the Bears are going to give up a run for a double play right here.
Sent out to left center field. That's down for a base hit. It's going to go towards the warning track. It's going to score 2. Stewart will pull up at 3rd, and a Micah New double, and the Hogs getting a little bit of separation here in the 5th inning. It's 5-2.
That is not a bad pitch. That is off the outside corner, but it was about belt high, and Micah New kept that weight back. And boy, off the bat, you just knew that was going to split the gap right there. And with the speed on the bases, Helfrich scores easily from 2nd base. Zach Stewart goes 1st to 3rd, and Micah New, he was rolling into 2nd base, and I think he took his helmet off about 3 strides away from 2nd.
Shows you how unfair this game can be as Nolan Souza bats. Infield will creep in all the way around. Pennell came into this inning, Troy, 4 innings, 1 run allowed. He will leave with 4+ innings and 5 runs.
Well, a couple walks. Helfrich walked and Stewart walked. Helfrich came around to score, and Stewart standing on 3rd base right now. Still no outs for the Hogs.
A couple of guys that reached this inning. Ruiz has now reached base safely in 16 straight games, and Helfrich 25 straight games. That's every game he's played this year.
That is Mr. Consistent. 3 walks in this innings so far for the Bears.
Remember when the Hogs played Northern Colorado, it felt like their best scoring weapon was a bases-loaded wild pitch. Would they have 5 runs in one game that weren't
2 in the same inning?
They had a couple in that comeback in Game 3 against State, back-to-back. Souza fouls one out of play.
Yeah, with no outs, Zach Stewart is going to camp at third base and really make sure this ball goes through the infield. If you're Mike Anu, you can get a lead as far off as a shortstop.
Souza watches ball 3. Carry outside and miss.
Right, that spin rate was under 900.
Yeah, I don't even.
That's almost like a splitter or a knuckleball or something.
I think you're right, and it caught my attention early, even on some of the pitches that you didn't think would have that type of carry. That's ball 4. It's to the backstop. Speak it into existence. That's another run in the last month that scored on a wild pitch. Troy, you won't see years where you score as many runs on wild pitches, pass balls, as the Razorbacks have done in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they've been absolutely living right. That's going to be ball 4 to Nolan Souza. And Arkansas is going to pinch hit right now with Carter Rutenbar with the right-hander Jake Jones on the mound. And yeah, Jones, I think, is just overthrowing. He's got good stuff. He just has to trust it.
Couple of runs batted in for Carter. Going to take a strike, hitting for Aloy. Five of Arkansas's runs against Northern Colorado in a game were scored on a bases-loaded walk, a wild pitch, or a pass ball. 5. They've had a couple more tonight.
Absolutely insane.
I mean, that's what happens when you go down to the rec league and, you know, when you're 14 years old and the wheels come off the wagon. Rutenbar fouls one back. It does show you, though, you know, when that moment gets big and there's just no margin of error. You just miss a little bit more than you want to, and all of a sudden the wheels just keep on moving.
I think it kind of started with Jake Pinnell leaving a couple pitches up in the zone. Souza
Delayed steal, and Souza will skid into second base. That was a skid more than a slide. It was like it was in slow motion. But Nolan gets bag number 6.
I think Arkansas fans are just pleased that he doesn't hurt himself when he slides head first.
You might need to see that one again. He went into
he almost didn't make it to the base.
He started to decelerate. Infield creeps in all the way around, and Rutenbar fouls one right at the plate again on a pitch at the top of the zone. Let's see how this slide took place. Watch at the very end. He starts.
It was like he was sliding on turf. He slided about a third of the way.
He was going to get there.
2/3 of the way there, yeah. Almost ran out of steam.
Rutenbar is the 8th hitter this inning. There's still nobody out, but there's a ball that might be out to the fence. It's off the top of the wall. Souza was tagging at second, so he will only go to third. New will score on a double that just missed being a homer, and Arkansas has a 7-2 lead.
Boy, Brett, Carter Rutenbar, I thought he had his first home run as a Razorback. He thought he hit that ball pretty well. He was into the home run trot already, and you can see Souza goes back and tags. That's a heads-up play by Nolan Souza, but that ball right off the top of the wall, and great play by Sloan. He played that ricochet in perfectly.
Well, here's the problem. 8 Razorbacks have batted this inning, and 6 runs have come across. So the Bears will go to the bullpen. 7-2 Arkansas, no give yet in sight. We'll come back with a new Bears pitcher in a very busy bottom of the 5th inning. postcard-like. Beautiful Baum-Walker Stadium and a very busy bottom of the fifth. We've gone from day to night in this inning alone. 8 men have come to the plate, still nobody out. And we got a Harbor High School product entering. One Jones replacing another. This is Austin.
Yeah, 4 1/3 innings for Austin. Austin Jones giving up 4 hits, 3 walks, 3 punch-outs. He's going to sit in the upper 80s with that breaking ball. Will throw change-up and slider as well. An opponent's only hitting 235 off of Austin Jones. And again, when he's effective, he's going to have a lot of fly ball outs. That's what he's seen so far this season.
Reese Robinette will be the 9th batter to hit this inning. Troy, Arkansas came into this fifth. They had exactly 2 hits. One was a bunt, one was a homer. They've done nothing but get on base here in the fifth.
Yeah, a lot of free passes by the Bear pitchers. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 in this inning alone, and that's what's caused all those base runners. And that was a really nice swing by freshman Carter Rutenbar.
Reese is flied out to left and struck out.
Well, the Bears are still playing infield in right here.
I feel like you almost have to. I mean, you're worried about a big chopper propelling to the outfield and scoring 2 more, but I feel like you got to start cutting somebody down someplace. Bender's in to Reese, and it's 1-0. Souza's at third, Rutenbar's at second.
You can't even see Ross, the right fielder. He is up against the wall almost in right field.
Good place for him. 2-0. They appealed. That didn't look close to being a swing. Guess it doesn't cost anything to ask. Well, there's Ross. He's back out there near the hog on the fence, the smoked sausage.
I think his heels are almost on the warning track.
It's not close, 3-0. He's got a little twist to this lineup, or this windup for Jones.
Well, he really does. You can see. Definitely have to wonder what his number is because he's going to show you in that windup.
Double taps that ball into the glove.
It's funny. You see a lot of pitchers do that, just kind of like a comfort or timing mechanism.
I feel like it would do the exact opposite of being good timing. But whatever works for you. That's faded down and out. That's ball 4. Troy, Arkansas has batted around and there's nobody out.
Yeah, this is the big crooked number they were looking for. And a lot of credit to Arkansas hitters. And
yeah, it's a head scratch.
Just really have been patient at the plate and letting those at-bats come to them and not trying to do too much.
TJ Pompey started this mess with a walk about 20-some minutes ago. And that finishes maybe above the zone, but called a strike by Clinton Wheeler. Pair of walks today for Pompey. Through another breaking ball. That one ripped to left and deep. 4 will score on a grand slam from TJ Pompey. Off the bat, that was a no-doubter. And Arkansas is at a big-time inning. They've scored 10 already in this fifth, and there's nobody out.
Well, you talk about a guy making an adjustment at the plate. That's TJ Pompey. We watched him in batting practice, and boy, the upper body has just stayed so quiet. He was letting his front shoulder and his whole body kind of fade toward the pitcher on every swing, and watch how quiet this upper body is. He just sits back and just absolutely tattoos that hanging breaking ball.
391 feet and a slam into the Fayetteville Knight. And this is Ruiz, who's looking for a second hit this inning. Ten runs here in the fifth. Keep in mind, this was an Arkansas team that was leading 17-0 in the 4th inning the other day in Columbia. And that was a game, Troy. What was unique about that game, and you scored 22 runs, a few of us might say, well, how many home runs? We mentioned there were plenty, 6.
Right.
There was also 12 walks and 3 hit batters. There were 15 free base runners that game.
That'll cause problems with 6 home runs.
But tonight, it feels like it has been the walk that has kind of kick-started some of these innings.
Well,
Certainly this one.
Well, before this inning, Arkansas only had 2 hits, the home run by Zach Stewart and the bunt single by Micah New, and that was it. It was not a lot of offense for the Hogs.
But 7 walks and a hit batter by UCA pitchers, and that one's fouled away. And listen, I understand it. You're not trying to find the heart of the plate. You're trying to get these guys to nibble. And that approach looked really good pitching-wise through 3-4 innings.
It really did, and Arkansas was really expanding the strike zone and really going after that breaking ball down and away from Jake Pinnell.
1-2 to Ruiz, grounded to third. This might be the first out. Runsick will make the play. Kind of shot put of that across the diamond. And that is the first out with the 11 batters that have come to the plate. They say, I mentioned before, that Ruiz's on-base percentage this year was .500. It's .500 this inning.
That's a pretty good inning so far. And boy, after the walk by Pompey in this inning, it was Ruiz with a single and then Camden Kojal with that chopper right over the first baseman's head.
Kojal drills one out to right center field. This ball's going to take a bounce. Kick up off the fence. Kojal will have his second hit of the game. It's a double to right center. 105 off the bat. Good contact from Kojal.
Just Mr. Consistent at the plate for Arkansas again. We're not trying to do too much. Got a pitch he liked. Smoked that ball into the gap. It's just a great compact swing right there by Camden Kojal.
Looks like the Bears might be going to the bullpen again. Troy, this would be the 4th pitcher this inning.
Yeah, Nick Arnold's trying to find somebody that can get some outs.
New pitcher coming on into this game. 11-2, Arkansas leading UCA. Bring you back inside Baum-Walker Stadium. We're still in the 5th. If you went away 45 minutes and then you thought, let me come back and check and see, Arkansas was down 2-1 when I left in the 5th inning. We're still in the 5th. It's 11-2, and this is the 4th pitcher of the 5th inning.
And this is not a replay of Friday night's game against South Carolina. It is the Tuesday night game, and UCA is going to bring in J.B. Williams, the right-hander. You see he's gone 19 1/3 innings. And the thing for Williams is his fastball's got a lot of sink, so they want to see him get a lot of ground balls and have these Razorbacks beat that ball into the ground.
Mississippi native via Northeast Mississippi Community College.
Not a bad ERA under 4.
Really, I think everything went to pieces for the Bears when Zeb Allen had his bat snapping 2. 10-run frame for Arkansas. Helfrich has walked and scored already this frame, and he takes a strike from Williams. 10 runs, 5 walks, 6 hits.
I think that's definitely the pitch. If you're an Arkansas hitter, you've got to lay off against J.B. Williams. Is that fastball to right-handers down and in that's going to be down and away from lefties.
Helfrich watches that spin in and finish down.
Sloan, the center fielder's really swung around in that left center field gap.
Big chopper carries into and out of the seats at the edge of the camera well in the Bears dugout. Bobby Wernes will go retrieve and make a friend.
Hey man, our camera men and women are going to have to be on their toes
They're
tonight.
in play. It's spring break week. We don't have many to begin with. We can't endanger them. I think that's a swing. And for Ryder, unfortunately, it is. Greg Hendricks says that's a swing. That's a strikeout. 2 gone.
Here's the thing. I think the pitch was a strike as well at the very bottom part of the zone. It's a really good breaking ball by J.B. Williams. Watch where this thing ends up. I think this thing is right at the knees, and that's definitely a swing.
I think Ryder knew it too. Zach Stewart homered last inning, walked with the bases loaded this inning. Lines one to short that Cree caught. I think that ball caught him. It was past him on a liner at 103, but Troy Arkansas did some damage, and they had 4 on 1 swing.
Boy, they really did. TJ Pompey with the big swing, hanging breaking ball that he did not miss. Hogs are up 11-2.
Performances in the SEC last weekend. Let's start from the bottom. Tomas Valenkas, who pitched well here at Baum Walker, had 14 strikeouts in a win over Vanderbilt with no runs. Kason Evans struck out 15 for LSU. Wins have been tough to come by in the Bayou, but he gave them the most Ks by an LSU pitcher since 2023, and you don't need to guess who that was. Mr. Skeens.
Yeah.
And then Tyler Fay threw a no-hitter, Troy, the first solo 9-inning no-hitter for the Crimson Tide since 1942.
Wow.
He threw 132 pitches against the Florida Gators, who were almost no-hit the previous Friday against South Carolina.
Wow. When you go back and you start talking about World War II era time frame, that's a long time. And Arkansas is going to bring in freshman Mark Brissy.
And that did not take long for him to hit Jake Runsick to begin the 6th inning. So Brissy becomes pitcher number 3, preceded by Lee and Coyle. You know, the kid that threw that no-hitter for Alabama was from Nebraska. As you see Brissy's numbers, 8 innings on the year, and we saw him pitch one of these midweek games. But I think he's a year older than Kojal, and I would say when it comes to Iowa or Nebraska, you don't even need multiple layers of separation. So I say to Koschel today, hey, did you know this kid from Nebraska who threw the no-hitter? And he goes, yeah, his dad is my grandfather's Ben's chiropractor.
Sure he is, Camden.
Oh, he's over in Grand Island. Yeah, Grandpa Ben, Faye's dad is his chiropractor. They were in the Cape together, though, I think, a couple of years ago. So, it never takes 3 or 4 layers. It's just immediate. Oh, yeah, I know him. He threw the no-hitter.
That's hilarious.
But that was one heck of a pitching performance. You get to 132, and you start to get really nervous, too.
Yeah, I definitely think so. That's so hard to take a kid out in a performance
it is.
like that.
Jaden Sloan fouls another one back. He's 0 for 2. But the last thing anybody wants to see is that number get to 140 and then beyond. And wow.
About 96 on that last fastball by Brissy.
We saw Brissy last Tuesday night. He started. He went 2 innings, 2 runs. The first 4 against him reached and 2 scored. He got a really lucky strike 3 and then a nice double play. Hit the first batter he faced tonight, but comes back to strike out Jaden Sloan.
Well, a really nice breaking ball in the back door. And I think Ryder Helfrich might have stolen this strike right there, just bit right around that corner of the plate. I think we have is this a pinch hitter? Is this Ross? No, my bad. It's still Ross.
Ross has walked and singled. He's saying, Troy, why did you a pinch hit for me? I'm rolling.
Hit a ball in the screws my last at bat. Couldn't quite see the number on his back.
And again, Ross has all the tools. Those numbers will climb. This is a team that's hit 25 home runs so far this season. And I mentioned new hitting coach Heath Holliday. There's a few locals that feel like this team's power is maybe equal to that 2013 team that went to the Starkville Regional and beat State in a couple of games over the course of that year. I think they went 3-3 against the Bulldogs that year, and they went 1-2 in the regional, lost in the final. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Zach Barr on that team for
I think you're right.
For UCA, now working on the staff for the Razorbacks?
Yeah, there's definitely some guys that have shown the promise and potential to have a little more pop in this Bear lineup.
And there's a chopper to third, and Pompey will take it foul. And listen, they play in a strange league in the A-Sun, and next year they'll be at a new conference. But there's the gold division and the graphite division, and Troy, the uniqueness is as you play only the teams in your division, and you play them twice, home and away in 3-game series.
Yeah, that's a little unusual. And again, now when they get into tournament play, then it's everybody plays everyone.
But there's no secrets when you play a team 6 times. And we talked about that with Stetson, right? When they passed through here, same league, different division. And that one is outside. I mean, Coach Harlan, he likes the fact that this team's got good makeup. They're very competitive. There's good leadership. And the one thing he told us, and I think I would agree, when your talented players are the best leaders, you're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And he really likes, like I said, the makeup of this team. They definitely have kind of a never say die type of attitude.
It was epitomized by that big comeback Sunday. They were down, I think it was 7-1 to Bellarmine, and they came back to win that game, and that won the series for them. And he dropped a phrase on us today I don't think I've heard, but I really like it. And that's strike 3, so Ross will K. So after the hit by pitch, Sloan struck out looking, Ross strikes out looking, and Brissy fighting his way back through this 6th.
Yeah, just a great pitch. Dotted the bottom part of the zone right there. And again, I think that's a veteran catcher that's stealing you a strike.
I think you're right. And this is Shadow. Knocked in a run in the 2nd to start the scoring. Flied out to center in the 4th. We have a timer violation. Is that on Shadow? It is.
It is.
All right.
Wasn't ready to hit with. You have to be in the box with your eyes up within 8 seconds on that 20-second pitch clock.
It's not any fun. And all of a sudden it's strike 2. What was the phrase that Coach Harlan said? Trust, not try.
Yeah.
Trust your
abilities. I mean, I think in baseball, if you try too hard, sometimes that has a negative impact. And he said you just have to just trust your abilities and let the game kind of come to you.
I like that. A shadow fouls one out of play because sometimes I think you're right. In basketball, your coach might say, "I need you to play harder. You got to you got to rebound. You got to play harder." In baseball, you can't say you need a hit. You need to try harder because it oftentimes has the adverse effect.
Yeah, I think when you try too hard, sometimes you tense up. With 2 strikes and 2 outs, Robinette's going to play behind the runner at first base.
And Shadow takes strike 3. How about that bounce back from Brissy with 3 straight strikeouts?
How about 3 strikeouts all looking by Mark Brissy? The breaking ball really got a good feel for it on that last few batters. Easy 5th inning for Arkansas. How about 5 walks, 2 singles, 2 doubles, and 1 home run? Carter Rutenbar almost got his home run, first as a Razorback, but off the wall. TJ Pompey with the bases loaded. That was the big fly of the inning, but that is a lot of activity in 1 inning, Brett.
Well, it was. 10 runs in all, a 391-foot slam from TJ Pompey. So that's what Arkansas has done in this game, but 10 of those 11 came in 1 frame.
We've got a pinch hitter, Christian Turner.
Yes, we do, for Micah Newt. That ball sliced down the left field line, and it is foul. It was going to be fun to watch Turner run if that ball would have been fair. Turner pinch hitting for Micah. Finishes 2 for 3. Turner is as slow coming back to the plate as he was fast leaving the plate.
He's got to catch his breath.
Maybe that's it.
I mean, he might have been one of those guys, if that ball bounced around in the corner down there, he might have been standing on third.
Yeah, I think so. Williams back to work, and that one fouled to the backstop, and it's 0-2. Souza and Rutenbar to follow. 0-2 spins up and in. Arkansas coming into action today anywhere from 4 to 6 in the poll. So at 18-7, I think there's the thought, hey, they've won a couple of SEC series. I still feel like there's more there maybe in the tank, and I don't know what that looks like going forward because, again, D1 Baseball, perfect game, had them 4, Baseball America 5. The writers and the coaches had them 6.
I think offensively is where that this team, you feel like that they need to be a little more consistent in, you know, putting up north of 5-6 runs in a ball game. It's when you score 22 in one game,
Yeah,
and then
you're
you
right.
come back and score 3 in the next game.
Because we'll give you a look at what Arkansas's numbers look like compared to the same number of games last year. There's a big chopper to short. Negri does get the bounce. He's going to have to hurry, and the throw pulls Shaddle off the base. That was what speed did for Negri. Even though he ended up getting a big bounce, he knew he had to accelerate that throw, and Turner ends up reaching.
As an infielder, you can just see that base runner out of the corner of your eye, and being left-handed and the guy that can really run, we're going to have to get a chin strap on Christian Turner's helmet, because he just cannot keep that thing on.
It's going to fall off, and it's going to go down his back leg and trip him up at some point. Here's Sousa. My point is, though, Troy, again, the numbers right now for Arkansas compared to, last season. There aren't as many home runs. There are more strikeouts. And I think you see the promise with some of these big games. But you're right. Obviously, you want to see kind of that day in and day out consistency in a sport that's really tough to do just that.
Fastball has a really good tail on it right there by J.B. Williams. And I was looking at Nate Thompson kind of talking to Nolan Souza from the dugout going, hey, see the baseball up in the zone. And I think that's a really good point when you've got a sinker baller on the mound in Williams.
2-1.
Well, Souza had a really good batting practice and shot several balls off of the screen in front of the building there in right field. And
yeah, he was doing some damage.
You feel like that power is just about ready to click.
What's clicking is 2 hit by pitches today for Nolan Souza. The Hawks back in business, an E6 and an HBP.
Sounded like it got quite a bit of meat. And whenever you get hit by a pitch, you just want to hit some muscle and not bone.
He doesn't give when he stands in that box.
No, him and Stewart just really just keep those feet planted.
Cutter Rutenbar pinch hit for Aloy last inning and doubled maybe a foot off the yellow line or at the top of the fence in right center.
Well, the Rays sorry, Brett, go ahead.
Based on his reaction, he thought he had homered.
He was in the home run trot, wasn't he? Big time speed on the bases, and Turner at second and Souza at first.
That one's drilled to right. Does Rutenbar have a homer here? Yes, he does. The first is a Razorback. He just missed last inning. That was a laser. The carry between the scoreboard and the building. And the Razorbacks are putting it to the Bears now. It's 14-2. Well, those are 2 good swings coming off the bench for Rutenbar.
Well, they really are. And you talk about a guy that really stays behind the baseball. Watch him just lean on that back leg and just get tremendous leverage right there. And no doubter, just an absolute bullet. 108 off the bat of Carter Rutenbar, and almost 380 feet. And he is going to celebrate his first home run as a Razorback. And a couple free base runners, the E6 and the hit by pitch, allow for a 3-run homer.
And keep in mind, at one point in this game, it was 2-0 UCA. That's 14 unanswered. Reese Robinette walked and scored in that busy 5th inning. Looks at a high strike. $14 runs on 9 hits.
It's a lot of free base runners for Arkansas.
We're near our camera well again and down the line. Uh-oh, someone's going to have to go retrieve. Heads up in the bullpen.
Somebody's got to have some.
We're just going to leave that there and play.
We're
on?
going to have to go
All
get
right.
it from the dugout.
Be like an Easter egg hunt. That thing's just sitting there in case you want to go pick it up and put it in your basket. We go.
That's a smart move right there. Why run all the way back to the dugout?
Yeah, that's
Get into some safety.
Two and two.
Well, that's the pitch that Reese Robinette all season long has really been able to lay off of. You try to swing at that pitch, you're going to have a slow tapper to the second baseman.
3 balls, 2 strikes. I think Williams likes whatever the watch is telling him. Robinette will pop one up. Denton back looking for room, and there will be none. Landing up on top of the roof above us.
Brett, you think about Reese Robinette, and what jumps out at me is just a high IQ baseball guy. You know, he doesn't have the tools of like a Mike Anu that's just got crazy vertical and just tremendous speed, but boy, he gets every ounce of the talent he has.
Grounded up the middle, cut off by Negree, and he will rob Reese Robinette of a base hit. Nice play. So he caught that liner last inning from Stewart that just about took him into center, and he took away a base hit that looked like he was headed to center.
I literally thought that baseball was going to get by Negree out there at shortstop. I might want to see that one again. I'm almost like he fielded that ball almost behind him.
Heck of an effort. Pompey had the grand slam. He scored 2 runs and drove in 4 in 1 inning.
So that take right there, that's the pitch that Pompey was swinging at early on in the season. That breaking ball down and away that's borderline strike.
Tell you what, that bat he's using looks like he took some Crayolas and put them in a blender. Look at this thing he's working with.
It's got like a rainbow.
Like a Skittles bag. That's drilled to center. This ball's hit extremely well. Sloan can only watch. Goodbye! A Titanic home run from T.J. Pompey. 1 inning after a grand slam, he sent one 426 into the Arkansas night. 112 off the bat. The analytics love it, and so do the fans at Bob Walker. 15 unanswered runs for the Razorbacks.
Boy,
my goodness.
Again, watch how quiet he is at the plate, and it just sounded different. You could see the reaction of J.B. Williams, the pitcher. The second that baseball was hit, he goes, uh-oh, that one's gone.
This cleared the old camera well.
That is a big fly by T.J. Pompey.
My goodness. By the way, Ruiz will be lifted. This is Landon Schaefer. Going to take a strike. So Arkansas has run off 15 unanswered runs. Schaefer got in late in the game on Friday in South Carolina. 0 for 4, couple of runs scored. Front door breaking ball, and a good one. It's 0-2. That'll be a wave and a miss, and Denton will have to throw to first, and he does, to complete the strikeout, and there's 2 outs. Oh boy, Troy, that's where the big men hit him, or big time bat speed.
I mean, that ball was absolutely crushed, and again, you can just tell by T.J. Pompey's presence in the box and just how his upper body is really, really quiet.
I think Zach Stewart was singing along with the song right there.
He just is a guy. He goes, I'm having more fun than I've ever had playing baseball here in Fayetteville.
Alexander Peck going to drive one in there to right center field. Ross is back at the fence. He'll come in 1 step to make the catch. And Peck does not get the long ball, but Carter Rutenbar does get his first.
Yeah, really nice job by Carter Rutenbar, really staying behind that baseball. You could see DVH's reaction. He knew that one was gone. So did Carter Rutenbar.
fun weekend for Sully, Troy. That look is a head coach that's about to get swept at Alabama who watched his pitchers walk 9 and also hit a couple of batters Sunday after they were no hit on Friday night. So it'll be an angry group of Gators that'll be here Friday night at 6 p.m. for Game 3, or the opener of a 3-game series.
Yeah, I think you're right. Whenever you have a team that feels like that they can play a lot better, boy, it lights a fire underneath them. And that's the Gators coming into Fayetteville.
Well, UCA went from one Jones to another pitching, and Arkansas is going to go from a Brissy to a Briscoe.
Yeah, left-hander freshman Ty Briscoe is coming in, and see, out of Abilene, Texas. The left-hander is going to sit around low 90s with that fastball, and this might be his first appearance as a Razorback.
Well, it
maybe.
is.
Yep.
Because they've tried to get him in a couple of games before. It was back in January. DBH said he was a two-way guy when he came in. Maybe his arm was bothering him a little bit in the fall. There have been a couple of pitchers that have been ready to roll only to see Arkansas put forth a run rule. Well, they're in run rule territory here, but Briscoe will come on to pitch in the 7th. Well, that glove looked like it was shaking just a bit. Meanwhile, this is Denton. He is singled and doubled. It's a swinging strike one.
Briscoe was in his set position on the mound before Denton even thought about getting in the box. He's like, I'm ready to go. He is locked in like a statue out there.
Wiley High School product there in Abilene. Pump strike 2.
But 97 on TrackMan. 96 in
giddy up.
That's after an 80-mile-an-hour curveball.
Troy, that was an easy 97. One ball, 2 strikes, the count to Denton. Troy, I bet that heart's beating pretty good. I mean, look at that glove. It's kind of bouncing around, isn't it?
It's got a little bit of wiggle to it. I don't think that's on purpose either.
I mean, you know, here it is, March 24th. You've waited a long time to make your college debut. It's 15-2, but that heart's a beating.
Ty Briscoe might be a great pitcher, but I don't think I want him to be my surgeon with the shaky hands like that.
After starting 0-2, it's now 3 balls, 2 strikes. See if he can take a big, deep breath and get his first out.
You can see the strings bouncing.
Yeah, the strings are bouncing. 3-2 pitch. Outside corner, strike 3 called. Welcome to college ball, Mr. Briscoe.
If you're going to throw a pitch like that, painting the outside corner, and you can't put it in the catcher's mitt any better.
Perfect game hit. Him as the number 5 left-handed pitcher in the state of Texas. Pitcher number 4 tonight, used by the Hogs. 3 of the 4, I believe, Troy, are freshmen tonight.
Yeah, there are a lot of good arms for the Razorbacks in that freshman class.
Got a pinch hitter for the Bears, Keaton Laidley. He's from Aledo, Texas, in Paris Community College. Did he offer? Oh, boy.
Not sure that was a swing, but
They said yes. I was with you. Strike 3 called outside corner. 2 batters faced, 2 strike 3s looking. And the last 5 outs Arkansas pitchers have recorded have all been backwards Ks.
again, I think that's a veteran catcher getting his
I think you're right.
pitcher a strike right there.
This is Mosini. You know, you think about this UCA team, returned 22 players from a year ago. They added 22. Of those 22, 5 were freshmen, 17 were transfers. It's kind of the way you build a roster at the mid-major level. Landon Carter from Sherwood, Arkansas, in the P27 Academy, is going to bat. Did he offer a? Did not. Our umpire was trying to put his lineup card back in his pocket. Greg Hendricks. I thought that was closer to a swing than the one in the previous batter.
I agree.
Anyhow, P27, I think that's where Carson Willis went to as well, an Arkansas catcher. This Briscoe kid's pumping strikes, Troy.
Strikes and gas, too. We talk about the tats of Kahil Aloy. Briscoe's right there with him.
Well, gasoline's expensive, but he's working on some gasoline here, pumping some juice, some octane.
He's just reaching back and saying, can you hit this heater?
The last 5 outs Arkansas's pitchers have recorded have been strikeouts and looking. 1-2 to Mosini. Strike 3 at 96. Briscoe had quite an inning, Troy.
Boy, he really did. And Arkansas bats, after kind of getting shut down early by Jacob Pinnell, the Fayetteville native, they really woken up with the 10-run inning. But, man, how about Ty Briscoe coming in just absolutely throwing flames? The freshman, that might get you some more time on the bump.
Well, Troy, Arkansas runs off 15 unanswered runs, including a 10-run inning. T.J. Pompey had a couple of home runs, including a grand slam, and there was a lot to like about this midweek game, at least for the Razorbacks.
Well, it really did. And how about the 2 plate appearances by Carter Rutenbar, a double and a home run, and the double was about a foot shy of being a home run.
Handshakes and high fives for the Razorbacks. That'll do it tonight. We'll be back on Friday night for the first couple of games of the Florida-Arkansas series. The network will have Game 3. For Troy Eklund and our entire crew, I'm Brett Dolan. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you 6 o'clock Central Time on Friday night. Once again, our final score in 7 innings, Arkansas takes down the UCA Bears 15-2. So long and good night from Northwest Arkansas.